Well, good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you very much indeed for joining us. My name is Neil Robertson, and I'm the Executive Chairman of Complete Software. You may have seen our small rocket ship over there behind you. If you get a chance to come and see us afterwards, I'd be grateful. However, I'm absolutely delighted today to be able to introduce you to James Ashford. He is the founder of Go Proposal and also a director of an accounting practice in Manchester called MAP. The presentation today is really about something that we're all recognizing. Our world is changing. The whole area of finance, the automation of finance, is having an impact on accounting practices, accountants in business, and obviously the clients that we all serve. So without further ado, I was delighted to introduce you to James Ashford, and I'll catch up with you a little bit later on. Thank you.
Hello, hello, hello. Hi, everyone. Was that one person clap then? Either all clap or not at all? Where are they clapping? Not at all. Brilliant. Right, okay, that's great. So I'm here today to really try and help you out to understand how everyone's talking about change, whether it's disruptive, whether we're going with it, what we're doing, what we're not doing. I find it really confusing. And what I spend a lot of time doing is helping accountancy firms to generate more profit, to grow more scalable business, and ultimately to help you guys as the business owners to benefit more from that. So what I'm going to be doing today is sharing things from our accountancy business that we've got right, that I think is working very well for us. I never stand here and say we've figured it all out or that we're the experts or we're perfect, because we're not. We have challenges just like everybody else. But the things we have got right, I'd love to share those with you guys today so maybe you can benefit from them as well. I always encourage questions at the end of it, and I always try and say that you're in a safe place. So if you've got challenges and frustrations and problems, so has everyone else. No one's got all this figured out. So feel free, if you have a challenge or a question or a concern, to put your hand up. We've got time at the end to be able to do that, so that's great. So one of the big problems I see with accountancy businesses is there's just so much confusion. You've got it here today. If you just walk around here, it's so overwhelming. There's so many things to choose from. Why should we choose certain things? And we can feel under pressure. We feel under pressure from technology companies to say, you should be taking this. Or we also feel under pressure from our clients dictating to us, well, we want to use this software. So they turn up and they want this and they want that. And all of a sudden, we don't really feel in control of our business anymore. I've got a few nods. I can see people, a few nodding with that. And there's also something I think that comes from this, which is called the technology myth. So a technology company will say, right, let's get all your clients over to this. It's going to make life easier for you. You're going to give so much more value to your clients. You're going to save loads of time, and you're going to make more money from it. Awesome. Brilliant. Let's do it. So you go through the pain and the problem of getting all the clients over, and you get to the end of it exhausted, and you look at it and you think, well, life seems quite similar to what it was before. I've lost all this time learning the software and trying to get people over to it. The client don't want to pay for it anyway, and they don't really value what we do. So how can we cut through that noise and actually get to something that benefits you guys? Because you're the center of your worlds, and I want to show you how you can benefit more from this. So the goal that we want to get to ultimately is we want to give more value to our clients. We want to impact them. That's why you do what you do in the first place. But you want to get paid more for it, right? You're giving more value. You should be valued more. And the way that value should come back to you is for you to be paid more for it. But you also, I think a lot of people just want to feel in control. You want to feel in control of where you're going rather than the clients controlling you or external factors controlling you. Getting a few nods from that. That's great. But the mistake that we make in trying to achieve that is we allow the tail to wag the dog. So we give far too much control to our clients. So our clients end up controlling what we do. They control the software that we use. They control what we pay. They control when they're going to give us the information. So it just feels like they're in complete control of our businesses, not in again. And this is just really frustrating because that's not why you set up in business, or it's not why you became an accountant. You became an accountant to serve, to impact, but also to be valued as well, to be a partner with your clients. The other mistake that people make is they don't necessarily agree the direction that you're going in. So if you don't necessarily know what direction you're taking or why you're getting there, then you don't know whether this is the right decision to be making or not, or whether this actually serves you. Just by show of hands, please, straight up, I'm not going to pick anyone out, just like to know, how many of you own the accountancy business? How many own the accountancy firm? Okay, it's about half the people in the room. What I always say to people, as I said to this lady earlier, and I say this with love, okay? Your clients don't really care about you. They're not going to come to your funeral. When you lock your house up at night, they're not thinking about you and making sure that you're okay, okay? So what you need to make sure is that the world that you're creating for yourself is the one that you want. You need to make sure that you're getting out of this business everything that you want. You're the primary thing at the center of this. You know, like on an aeroplane, it says if the oxygen mask drop, you get yours on first before you help anyone else. If you're not as profitable as you can be, if you're not enjoying business and making money and growing it in the way that you want to do it, there's no way you can help your clients to do the same. And there's another mistake is that people think that clients won't pay more for things. So people become fearful. They don't want to pass the cost on to their client because they don't think that the client's going to pay. So all of this leads to a lot of confusion, and we got all this pressure from every angle. And so what tends to happen is we just become stuck. We become fearful of making the wrong decision, and so we don't make any decision. And that becomes our decision, okay? And there's a great quote that I heard yesterday, which is, if all you do is all you've ever done, then all you get is all you've ever got. But that's not strictly true. If all you do is all you've ever done, then all you'll get is less. And the reason you get less is because if you just keep doing what you're doing, but everyone else around you is doing more, then you are going to get less. You are going to fall behind. And I don't want to be that doom and gloom merchant. I don't want to say that it's all going to be over, because that's not how it works. But we need to keep moving forward. There's this idea that disruption's a good force, and disruption was a good force and still is, whilst people are disrupting things and moving everything forward, coming up with new ideas, taking on new technology and developing things and moving things. However, disruption becomes a negative force when we become inactive and we become stuck, and we don't want to be part of that, or we become fearful of making the wrong decision, and so we stay still, and now we become a disruptive force in a negative way because everything else is flowing past us and we're stuck still. So the answer, I believe, and obviously you've got to find your own answers that people are actually looking for, is that you've got to decide what you want. You've got to put yourself at the center of this. You've got to decide what you want to get out of your business, how you want to work. One of the things I say to a lot of people is, this is your game. It's your game and it's your rules. And for me, your clients have to play by your rules, or they can go and play by someone else's rules somewhere else. And there are 30,000 accountancy firms in the UK, and they can go and find one that perfectly fits them. So don't worry if you get rid of them. Someone will look after them. They're not just going to drop off a cliff. But you've got to make sure that if they're playing your game, they've got to be playing by your rules. And you're going to see why. The other thing is, we've then got to learn how to communicate that value to our clients. So once we decide this is how we're doing it, we've then got to figure out how we communicate that value to the clients, because they don't care about you. They only care about themselves. And rightly so. They only want to get the benefits from you. So we've got to make sure that we can't just say to a client, well, we're doing things this way and that's it. We have to communicate the value to the clients and how they will benefit from us doing things this way. And the final thing is, we've got to be prepared to let go. I have so many conversations, like thousands of conversations each year, with accountants and bookkeepers who genuinely want to serve their clients and help them, and they're just not charging enough. They're not getting enough from this. They're not benefiting from it. And they're kind of just scared to death to lose these clients. So they've got clients that are paying them. I met with a firm last week, and he had a client that was paying him £50 a month. And there was no way he could serve him to that level. So we showed him how to reprice it differently, and it came out at £252 a month. And he's like, how do I have this conversation with this client? What if he leaves? What if that? I'm like, what if he stays? What if you don't have the conversation and he stays paying you 50 quid? That's far worse than charging him £252 and he leaves. So he repriced the client and the client signed up on the spot. It wasn't a problem. So it was increased to the same amount of work just by charging for everything that he was providing that client with. At that rate, you can afford to lose a few clients. It's not the end of the world, and you will still benefit from it, I assure you. So just to give you a bit of context, I'm the director of an accountancy firm in Manchester called MAP. Paul Barnes, who's just stepped in, give us a wave, Paul, is the founder of MAP. Just to give you a bit of context, we have 100% of our clients on the cloud. We have a specific niche of digital creative agencies. We have average fees of £560 a month. We have 140 clients. Last year we grew by 40%. Half of that growth came from existing clients and us serving those clients to a higher level, and half of that growth came from bringing new clients on board. We've just tipped over £1 million revenue, and compliance work is our most profitable work. I always say that to people. I know there's a lot of talk about advisory, and we do advisory, but I think people look at that thinking, we need to do advisory to make money because we're not making money out of compliance. Well, if you're not making money out of compliance, you're not going to make money out of advisory either. Our method is, let's make money out of all of it. But compliance work is still our most profitable work because we're profitable in the way we charge for it and we're efficient in the way that we deliver it. I'm also the founder of Go Proposal, and this was the software that we had to develop to allow all of our team to be able to communicate the value of our services to our clients, to ensure consistent, profitable pricing across them all, and to give everybody the confidence to have the conversations that they needed with our clients as well. So I'm just going to share 3 ideas with you now that I think will help you on this journey if you're on board with me. So the first one is this idea of niching versus verticals. So what I mean by that is there's a lot of talk about finding your niche, and we decided to go all in on one niche. If you're not a digital creative agency, you can't work with us. We turn far more people away from us than we take on. We didn't start out that way. We just gravitated towards them. They gravitated towards us. We found we could give a lot of value to them. And 18 months, 2 years ago, we exited all of the other clients. We sold all the other client base off, and we went all in on one niche. I've met other firms who have specific niches, and that's great as well. It makes life so much easier for everybody because it allows us to make much more simple decisions. So, for example, what reporting software should we use? Well, I don't know. There's Futurely, there's Spotlight, there's Fathom, and they're all brilliant. They're all great. So which one do we take on? The one that our clients tell us they want? The one that shouts the loudest? They've got the best sales team? Which one? Well, we know how we want to serve our clients to the best of our ability. And one of the main factors for us was that we wanted to be able to benchmark our clients against each other and communicate that information back to the clients so they could see where they fit in with other digital creative agencies. After our research, Fathom was the best product that allows us to benchmark our clients, and that was why we made that decision to use that as our reporting software with all of our clients. So if they come to us, there's not an option. We don't offer different solutions. We've invested the time in research and discovering what's right to be able to serve our clients. But I know that niching is a bit daunting for a lot of people, and I don't think if that's not right for you, you certainly don't need to go all into that. But I'd like to introduce you to the idea of verticals instead. So verticals is you can still be a general practice, but you may have 3 or 4 verticals that are, you've got several clients in that space that you're doing some really good things with. So you could have a hospitality vertical, you could have doctors or professional services as a vertical, whatever that is, and you may have just identified those that work really well. If you can go all in on niching, I assure you life's much better, but don't see the prospect of niching as an issue, so it prevents you from even taking a step closer towards it. Verticals allows you to take that nice step towards it, and then you can start making the right decisions around those clients. We put a growth and profit masterclass on yesterday. Some people here that attended that, and we had Will Farnell there as well, who was part of that, which was great. And he said a great quote, which was, if you don't control the process, you can't control the profit. At the end of the day, guys, if you've got an accountancy business primary function is to make money. That's the primary function of all your businesses. Yes, we do that by serving our clients, by impacting them, by helping them to make money, but fundamentally the prime function of your business is to make money. If you don't control the process, you can't control the profit. So I know of some accountancy businesses who had bespoke on their website and thought it was great to offer a bespoke solution. And when they pointed that out to me, I interpreted bespoke as nightmare. I won't point them out, but they are in the room. They know who they are. And the reason why it's a nightmare, and the reason why you do it, is because you guys are generous. You're helpful. You genuinely want to serve. But sometimes that can actually cause us so many problems, because what we do is, as a client comes to us, they say, I use Xero, is that okay? Yeah, that's fine, come on. Well, we use QuickBooks, is that okay? Sure, come on. We've got a spreadsheet. Yeah, come in. We've just got a carrier bag, and we just kind of throw it at you as we drive past once a year. We'd love to have you. We will solve all your problems. And so we take them all on board. How do you want to give us the information? By Receipt Bank, by a Complete? Do you want to email it through, put it in Google Drive? And we allow our clients so many choices. When do you want to send it in? Do you want to send it in on time? Do you want to be late as you like, last minute? It's entirely up to you, okay? So we give so many choices to our clients, thinking that we're helping them, but we're not, because we're hindering ourselves. And while ever we hinder ourselves, there's no way you can serve your clients to the level that you want to. And with every single thing that you throw into the mix, you hinder efficiencies and you hinder your profit, which negates the ability to serve your clients to the level that I know you all want to do. So what we do is, we have an off-the-shelf solution, which I know people think, well, that sounds bad. No, it's not, because we have spent so much time researching and figuring out what to put on the shelf in the first place. Our head of bookkeeping is here, Will. Will, give us a wave at Matt. Will spend hours and hours researching the right products for us to be able to use, assessing them all, justifying them, maybe trialing them with clients, that we can ultimately get to that right solution that we know is going to serve our clients. At that point, it goes on the shelf, so that when we're talking to our clients and we go through a consultative sales process with them, we know with confidence that we can take the right things off and present them, knowing that we can deliver them all efficiently, knowing that we can deliver those all profitably, and knowing that we can have trained our clients to deliver them to an expert level as well. The challenge that you're then thinking is, well, how do we position them confidently? What if they push back and say they don't want to do that? Well, this is where we need to learn how to position them better. This was one of the fundamental reasons we developed Go Proposal, to allow us to be able to sit with the client and say, right, based on everything you've told us, these are the products that we're going to be recommending you. These are the services that you need. You've got this number of bank transactions going through. This is what that's going to look like. This is the support that you need. And at the end of that process, this is what it's going to cost. How does that look? And if they say, we don't want to spend that much, not a problem. What do you want to take out? Okay? Do you not have other things? Can we not have different software? No. This is what we have proven to be the very best, that allows us to serve our clients to the best of our ability. And if you want to work with us, we'd like to bring you on that journey with us to show you how we can serve you too. I don't want to use this software. Not a problem. Thousands of other accountancy firms that will let you do whatever the hell you want to do, but that's not us, because we're not being fair to you if we do. We're not being fair to you if we allow you to decide what you want to do. It's like, I always use the analogy of surgery. If you went to a surgeon and that surgeon said, so do you have any preference with where we cut today? How many stitches do you want in there? We've got our gold, silver, bronze package. It's like, no, you cut where you need to and you put as many stitches in to keep me alive, right? It's the same with this. When this stuff goes wrong, businesses go under. Businesses disappear. 96% of small businesses fail within 10 years, gone. We need to do this to keep those businesses alive. That's our ethical obligation, to understand how to communicate that value to our clients. There's a great quote that Paul uses, which is, I'm the most passionate salesperson because I only sell what I would buy if I was in their shoes, knowing what I know. Take a picture of that by all means. I'm the most passionate salesperson because I only sell what I would buy if I was in their shoes, knowing what I know. Paul doesn't offer the clients what they think they want. He goes in and spends the time and has trained our entire team to be able to go in and uncover how we can really service our clients to the best of our ability. So I'm going to share with you a few action points, because coming to events like this are great. You feel inspired, it's buzzing, you get to meet some wonderful people, here's some cool ideas. But unless you actually take any action off the back of it, nothing changes. You go back to your firm all excited. You realize something's hit the fan as you sift through your emails. You're quickly taken away from all these exciting ideas, back into the run of it, and 2-3 months go, and all your notebooks that you put on your desk. I'm definitely going to do something with these. I'm going to put them on my desk. And then 2 months passes, 3 months passes, and that dream of, I'll just put it in my drawer and I'll come back to it later, and you never do anything with it. Taking action is what it's all about. So if you're interested in what we price all of our services at, which is one of the big questions that we get, how do you price them? If you sign up for a free trial of GoProposal, we give you all of the pricing that we use within MAP. All the services, all the descriptions, everything's in there. It's just a really useful exercise to try it, to flush your existing clients through that you're not charging enough, and see how the pricing comes out at. That's just a really useful exercise to do. The second thing is we've developed a consultative sales framework that we use in MAP, because when I first encountered MAP, we had one salesperson. I said, well, that's fine, but we've got 20 people servicing our clients, having conversations with them every day. Why don't we create a sales culture? Why don't we get everyone being able to have conversations, high-level conversations with all of our clients, because they're the ones on the front line. There's no good Paul meeting a client and making a promise to a client to then hand it back to someone else who's going to then fulfill that promise. We would much rather have the person making the promise fulfilling the promise. So we've developed what we call the gloss method, which very quickly, when we're speaking to a client, is what are your goals? Where are you trying to get to? And not your business goals, but your personal goals first. I'm a business owner myself. My personal goals this year was to be able to take my children to and from school every day, for my wife to leave employment, for us to move house closer to our children's school. Well, what I said to MAP is, if you don't know any of that stuff, how can you really help me? Because I'm not buying bookkeeping services from you. I'm buying the ability to pick Scarlett up from school and know that that's all taken care of. So you need to know what my personal goals are, because your value in the world is directly proportional to the size of the problems that you can solve. P&L, balance sheets, I know it gets you guys excited, but as a business owner, I just want to know, can we go on holiday this year? That's the thing that really makes a difference. So personal goals first. Where are they trying to get to? Personal goals and business goals second. Where are they now? We need to know where they are now before we can attempt to move them to where they want to be. What are the obstacles in their way that's preventing them from getting there? How fast do they want to go? It's a great question. We always get to this point and the client says, how much is it? Depends how fast you want to go. We can do everything for you if you want to allow you to focus on your core activity. And we can do that, or we can train you in certain aspects, or you can do parts of it yourself. Not a problem either way. So it comes down to what speed you want to go. So the client does have some ownership over what they'll be paying. And then the final thing is, what's the solution? I fundamentally do not believe in the goal. So we've been through this process. What do you want? It's not fair to the client to ask them what they want. We have to offer the very best thing that we can offer that client with no judgment, not worrying whether they can pay it or whether they can justify it. I spoke to a guy earlier and I took him through some pricing, and he said, this client's paying 60 quid a month, and with what you're saying, it's going to be 120 quid a month. I feel uncomfortable getting him to pay 60 quid extra a month. I'm like, he's spending 60 quid extra a month on Sky. He's spending 60 quid a month on one round of drinks after work on a Friday. It's not a big amount. You know, he's just investing that money in different places. We've got to show our clients where they should be investing their money. If you're interested in that, if you head over to goproposal.com/resources, got two really valuable resources on that page. One is the gloss method, which takes you through that process I've just taken you. It's an hour training. The other one is how to go back and reprice your entire client base. This is a very in-depth webinar that Paul and I did last year. The recording's there. It's an hour and 45. Best training we've ever put together. You don't have to put your email address in. We don't want that. Just go and grab the resources. Really valuable. We just really like to help you with that one. And the final thing is that our belief is that selling is to serve. I think we could all agree that we want to give our clients more value and help them better. But the only way that value can exchange is if they pay us money in return. To serve our clients, there has to be an exchange of value. A sale has to be made in order for us to be able to sell, to be able to deliver the value that we want to our clients. We believe that selling is our ethical obligation. Because if we're not doing that, we're not serving our clients. And if we're not doing that, we're not serving ourselves to the best of our ability. So I encourage everyone to sell to serve and make sure the person you're serving first is you and putting yourself at the heart of that. I have got a few copies of my book if you're interested in that. I've got some rare unsigned copies. Paul's laughing because I crack that joke at every talk. He said, "You're going to crack that rubbish joke again?" I said, "Yeah. Whatever people laugh, and still laughing, I'll still be cracking it." So the stands over there. We've got a load of copies if you want that. So I've got a few minutes. I would love to be able to answer any questions that anyone's got around anything I've shared, any challenges you've got, anything you disagree with.
Hi there. You know, when you spoke about a niche, how do you safeguard the confidentiality of the clients? There must be like competitors between them.
How do you what? Sorry, just say that last part
again. Put some safeguards to cover your competitors. You could be dealing with competitors.
At the thought of losing clients, you mean?
No, like Chinese walls. Would that put an extra cost on your staffing? Because you'd be dealing with two competitors if you're niche in.
We've never had. This is again about how to position the value. So what we're. Thank you for the question. So the question is if you're having a niche, how do you cope with dealing with effectively competitors? And it's never been an issue for us. So we would never share. We're very transparent in the fact that we'd never share data between clients, so they know that. But they also know that they're part of a world where we can serve you to the very best of our ability beyond whatever any other accountancy firm can, because we're specialists. We're just going into this. We bring in experts as well. So we brought in a speaker from the States last year to come in, and we put an event on for our clients so they can see our commitment to this industry and to this space, and we just keep getting traction. So it's a great question, and I'm always really interested in mindset. There's this idea of map and mindset. You need the map to get from where you are now to where you want to get to, and I've just shown you a map for how to get there. But then the next thing that kicks in is your mindset. And if the mindset isn't aligned with the map, then nothing's going to move forward. And what happens is you're sat there nodding with, that sounds great, that sounds really good. And the voice in your head goes, "We will never do that. We will never do that thing." Because then what happens is the voice starts to kick in with fear. What if we lose our clients? What if they're not happy about a competitor? And what we need to do is to combat that voice and figure out how we can silence it and come up with solutions that effectively serve you. So we've never really had that as an issue. But the reason for positioning niching or for positioning off the shelf has to be in the interest of the client. You can't say we're specialising in this niche because it's going to make our life a lot easier. We don't have to learn as much software, etc. They don't care about you. When we're communicating why we're niching, we have to be communicating how you benefit and how your world is different at the end of it. Yeah, thank you. What time is it? One more question? Are we good? Any more?
James, really interesting. You talked about the fact you picked digital marketing agencies as the niche. Seems to me that you've got a model, a methodology that you just replicate across other niches.
Yeah.
So tell me, what are your thoughts? What are your plans?
Absolutely, and that's always the same question that everyone asks. How many digital creative agencies are there in the UK, Paul? 30,000? There's 30,000 to go at. We've got 140 clients. There's plenty of room for us to keep going. And the question is, people always say that, why don't you branch out? If you replicate it here, let's do it there. With every slight degree change, there comes more complexities than you don't even consider. So you could say, why don't we take architects on? Architects are similar. They manage projects. They've got a creative output at the end of it. Why don't we take them on at the end of that process? There's so many nuances and things you'd have to learn, and terminology, and also your marketing message. Our marketing message is nailed on because we know how we benefit those people. The moment you start to dilute that, you don't attract the level of client that you really want to be attracting into your firm. So thank you for listening. This is the first part of this talk. I'd now like to hand you over to Neil to conclude the talk. Thank you, Neil.
Thanks very much indeed. A round of applause. Thank you. Okay. Right. Thank you very much indeed for that, James. I think the key thing there is that it's very clear that James and their team have thought very carefully about what they did, about what resources they were going to use, what expertise that they were going to bring to bear, the business process that they put together in terms of actually going after a marketplace and the value that that delivers. And I think if I can ask, in the terms of you guys, how many of you guys actually are in practice, accounting practice? So the vast majority. And how many of you actually provide managed services, so using products like Xero, Receipt Bank, and so on? So again, a very large number of you. Excellent. So one of the problems that I think you find, and certainly I've heard a lot about very recently, is that that's quite a crowded market in terms of the number of people that are actually automating. You are getting very competitive with each other. So if you're going to start looking for an opportunity, there's one statement that is true, and that is larger clients pay more. And I think when you start to look at your organization as the one that you serve, what is the opportunity that you would like to present to them? And obviously the first thing you do there is, well, it's much easier to sell something if it's a recognized problem, if it's something they're already worried about, if they know that there's an issue but they don't know how to resolve it. Now, I'm not going to go through all the points on the slide because there isn't time. But I think the key point is if you sit down and decide that you want to make that change, that you want to evolve your business, that you want to be able to drive higher revenue from existing and new clients, then you need to think about the things that you would need to do in order to achieve that goal. And today, with regards to automation, is the rules are fundamentally changing. But one thing is absolutely clear. In terms of the valuation of your practice, is that the more you grow your annual recurring revenue, ARR, then the higher the valuation will be. And it's a difference between 1-2 times revenue, potentially 10 times revenue. An opportunity. Accounts payable, purchasing. My first job in 1976 was as a bought ledger clerk. And today, when I go out and talk to organizations, literally of multiple sizes through the entire SME, most of them work exactly the same way as I did as a bought ledger clerk in 1976, up until the time that the invoice is finally signed off and processed. And if you look at the order processing side, most of them have no formal order processing practices at all. That is a huge issue. If you don't believe me, pick up the phone. Go and speak to 1 or 2 of your larger clients and go and find out what's happening on the other side of the fence. I think you're going to be surprised and in some cases horrified in terms of the way that organizations actually spend their money and the security and the processes they have around that. Also, it's expensive. So if you've got an organization that has a really robust purchase invoice capture and approval process, they're going to have an army on it. The number of people that are involved in it, the number of steps that they're going to take, etc., it is diligent, it is compliant, it is secure, but it is incredibly expensive, and equally, it is very, very slow. If they have a bad process, then they are highly vulnerable to the mismanagement of money and the way they spend the money. And if they don't pay their suppliers on time, that damages their cash flow because they have to obviously pay suppliers because they can't increase the credit limits. So, in terms of the market size, purchase automation is horizontal. It is relevant to every single company because we all just buy stuff. It is not a vertical marketplace. There is a huge opportunity there. What's the reason for calling? Everything you read in the press, risk of fraud. I won't go through the points here, but internal fraud is we are continually discovering fraud from organizations. Simple one, people buy off the Amazon website, they have stuff delivered to the office, and they have a TV delivered to their house, and they don't ask for the invoice. That's not an uncommon activity. But external, it has been industrialized. So there are businesses out there that spend all their time trying to find ways to extort money from UK companies. We are processing £10 billion worth of invoices digitally in the UK alone, and we are seeing a rapid increase in the number of fraudulent invoices that are being sent through to our customers. Now, we're extracting them and highlighting them, but with manual processes, that simply isn't going to take place. And here's another interesting stat. If you put in order processing, somewhere in the region of 70% of all invoices from existing suppliers overcharge against the order when it's been officially raised. At the moment, people are just signing them off. So what would happen if you rang up your client and you gave them the opportunity to say, look, we're worried about fraud. We'd like to have a quick look and find out what you're up to. Half an hour call, perhaps 3/4, and discuss what they currently do. And we'll come back to you with a proposal showing your vulnerabilities. And we'll also come back to you with a proposal in terms of potentially how to resolve it. Then, would that solve the problem? Would that be an opportunity for people to automate? In terms of what we do, so a bit of marketing, we do invoice capture. You know Receipt Bank, you know auto entry. It's kind of like that, but 85% of all invoices, 82 here is what we process, but 85% of all invoices now are sent as a PDF. That is a digitally rich document. It is not OCR. The accuracy in capturing that means we get every bit of information on that invoice. And I mean everything, header, lines, and we can validate that to ensure the accuracy, it's the right supplier, etc. In terms of iComplete, and that includes the complete capture, it totally automates the invoicing, capture, and approval process, and also provides purchase ordering. It has one of the most powerful workflow engines, because that is important when you do this, because every business is slightly different. But also, is we remove between 60% and 70% of all of the activity of the AP function through defaulting, because the majority of transactions actually are always coded the same way. But we also consolidate the spend of over 10 billion, which means that we've negotiated prices with major suppliers that allow all of our clients to pay less for everything they buy. For example, if you look at just simple office products, supplies, we currently spend 30 million through our customers in buying. So we have much, much better pricing, which means that the price of our software is paid for many, many times, which is an opportunity, therefore, obviously for you, in terms of providing this service, is you're offering an opportunity for an organization to automate, and having automated, it is going to pay them anywhere up to 20 times the cost of the software. So, in summary, accounts payable is the last bastion of old world accounting. Is literally 65% of people out there are working the same way as I did in 1976, which is obviously why I started Complete. I thought it would be easy. 11 years on, not so much. However, technology has moved on. This capability of digitizing an invoice, collecting all the data from it, putting it through a fully automated process, we can deploy iComplete in less than a day to an accounting practice who then deploys it to their client. It is incredibly simple to use. But what is the implication of this to accounts payable? Well, it removes all the repetitive tasks so you can focus on exceptions. But here's a key point. AP is the fastest turnover job in just about every business. And it's getting harder because millennials do not want to do this type of work. So if you automate, you can broaden the job, broaden the skills, and give a far better job opportunity to people that you're bringing in. Second thing about millennials, because they're increasingly a key audience, is it's real-time information. Everything you can do through your mobile. Every bit of information we're generating is deliverable to the people that need to know. I'm going in to see a supplier. What do I owe them? What are the invoices under query? What credit notes are outstanding? How much am I spending with them? But you're driving productivity across the entire audience. And here's the last part. is I don't think that the role of accounts payable is going to survive very much longer. It is evolving already with regards to our customers. Because if you are able to provide services, first of all, you take away a significant amount of the repetitive work to create time. You then give access to the procurement skills of our procurement team that we can analyze exactly what our customers spend, who they spend it with, how much they're paying, benchmark it against the pricing in the marketplace. We can provide that AP person with the resources to be able to go out, identify areas where savings can be made, to facilitate the delivering of tenders for pricing, to get better pricing, and to enable them to ensure people buy from it, driving down price. And the sort of money that we're actually talking about means that accounts payable is no longer an overhead to do a manual process. It is a significant profit center. And by significant, I'm talking about organisations that are now starting to save in the region of £1 million a year from some of our larger customers in terms of the money they're saving simply by buying better. The AP function is going to evolve. The type of people who are going to actually do that role have already evolved. Millennials are not the same. And with the right tools, the opportunity is there for every business. And obviously the last point being is that we provide this software to accounting practices so that they can offer it to their clients. So, if you're looking for a good opportunity that might be relevant to your business, please drop by at stand 640. You'll see it under the rocket. I hope you found some of that information useful. Thank you very much.